When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Well, hello, and welcome to Riffs on Riffs, where my friend Toby has just informed me that he's gotten some tea, and which seems appropriate for a Sunday morning. So good on you. I'm curious, what herbs, what petals do you put in your tea in the morning, Toby?
I don't know if there's Earl Grey petals or not. That tends to be the normal tea of choice for me. A little bit of honey. What is
Earl Grey? I don't even know what that's made of.
I think Earl Grey is Jean's other sister. Oh, what?
Are you having a little Dark Phoenix this morning? Is that what's going on? I love it. You know I'm here for it. Jean Grey.
Could be. Have you seen any Marvel movies lately?
Lately, no.
Okay.
But going back and watching some Famke Janssen is never a bad idea. So maybe some. Are you excited for the new upcoming Doomsday?
I am. There's a lot.
I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt you before I even let you go.
Yeah.
How the heck do you say, I know Iron Man is no longer with us. So why don't we just have our boy playing Dr. Doom now, even though he's literally been Iron Man for the entire, I don't get it. Toby, please explain this to me.
I don't get it.
You couldn't find another actor?
Yeah, I don't get it either. We're here. So at this point, as I always say when coaching people, situation is boss. This is the situation. I'm going to see it regardless. What it is, December 18th. At this point, forget complaining. Let me see what you got. If you can make it make sense, you can make it good. I'll take it.
I'm sure he's a great actor, so I'm sure it'll be good.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic.
I just seems like we're supposed to suspend some level of, we're always suspending belief anyway, but why? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Or maybe there's a turn that happened. I don't know. Maybe it is the same. Okay. That's not why we're here, Toby. We're here to talk about petals.
Yep.
We're going to put the pedal not to the metal, but to through the concrete.
Through the concrete. Ariana has come out with her 8th studio album. It was just released on the 31st of July in the year of our Lord 2026. And it's a hit. Shocking.
Right? Ariana making another hit? Didn't see that one coming.
She is definitely on the diva list. And just for those who haven't listened to Riff long enough, when we say diva, we are talking about like the cream of the crop. This is a special group of artists that we just think are fantastic. So we're talking Aretha, we're talking Mariah, right? And Ariana is definitely on this list. I think the world of her vocal talents, and she never ceases to amaze me in regards to her vocal control. She started off what was it, Disney? Was she on Disney, like a Disney?
She was on
Disney
Disney,
show?
yeah. She was on what was it? It wasn't. It begins with a V, right? Like not Gloria.
Victorious.
Victorious. There it is. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I knew we'd get there.
Yeah. Started on Victorious, and
well, let's pause on the vocal part here because no doubt she's got all the talent in the world. So diva level. But this album is restrained in a lot of ways, which I think is another way that kind of points to her prowess because she's from a just pure vocal delivery. to me, compared to all the things that she's done in previous work, I mean, just go watch Wicked, right? She can do all the things. She doesn't have to do all the things. And I think leaning into some of the themes of the album, she's just kind of, not to say she's not singing, but it's a little softer. It's a little, I don't know, it's a little more lush delivery than I think some of the belting that she's showcased in other work.
I think she's doing what she can to stay in the pocket. I think that she's really staying in the pocket, staying very controlled. And I think there's a reason behind that. I think that of all of the other albums, because I'm looking at contrast, right? Because there's a lot of speculation of what's going on with her, health wise. But if we just, we're going to stick mainly to the music, today, because that's what we do. We kind of venture off into other things as we riff. But if we're just talking about the music, one of the things that actually really intrigues me about this album is this is the first one that she's like completely written the entire thing. Like she's like lyrically wise, she's written the entire thing. That means that it's special. And you can already tell that like from Petal in the lyrics with that, she's got a point that she's trying to make, and she's not trying to distract you, from the meaning with tricks or little shiny things or, Jedi mind tricks or anything like that. Like, no, here's the point. Well,
and it's an interesting contrast because she says about the album, this is a quote from her, it's a little feral, which it is lyrically. Definitely from a place that I've been maybe too shy or polite to tap into before. And this kind of just feels like F it. So she's 33 now, which I think is, I don't know. I just remember hitting 30 and being at the point where all the things suddenly demanded attention. All the things that I had been, whether intentionally or not, ignoring or haven't dealt with or whatever, at some point they all come to a head and you say, well, here's my life. I wonder which parts I need to be shining a light on right now. And so for her to get into this feral stage makes a ton of sense. Having lived her life in the spotlight literally since she was 15, makes sense that she's finally saying, you know what, F it, I'm going to go feral. I'm going to say the things I want to say. But it is an interesting contrast that the delivery of that you would think would be, I mean, maybe the video is a little feral, but the
little feral, a little feral. We went Wolverine to Sabretooth on here for keeping with the X-Men theme. She's more than a little feral on this. Continue.
Yeah, but the musical delivery is not as feral, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's smart. It's smart. She has such a, when she's a perfect choice for that, for the movie Wicked, right? Because that character could say some mean things, but in such a sweet way.
Oh, Glinda.
Right. In such a sweet way that, you're like, did she
what?
diss me? Did she diss me? Did she say I'm ugly? Did she say I'm ugly? Right. I mean, it could be, that sword can cut very, very deep, so, and I think she's approaching the singing in the same way.
That's interesting. It's the Glinda approach. Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely that. Whatever she does, she's always going to get attention. It really doesn't matter to a certain extent. She is who she is. She's very, very popular, insanely popular. Music. I mean, goodness, this is her 8th album. She's, how many number ones does she have? How many, awards has she won? She's lived more than half of her life in the spotlight, so I think that she's more than earned the right to have an album or albums like this. And I feel like she had felt pressure to do certain things or perform certain ways or talk about certain things or look a certain way. And, it's interesting that you showed the TikTok video, you shared it with me. And I thought that was very interesting too, because despite how people have described how she looks, currently, being appearing thinner than she's been. She already was a very petite person, saying that, hey, that wasn't a very healthy version of me. Like, that wasn't healthy. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. That person was on antidepressants. That person was drinking. That person was this, is that. I mean, she was very vulnerable. And, I think, I can appreciate people being vulnerable, and, I can appreciate that. And her just saying, like, instead of lashing out at the media, she just said, like, hey, everybody, let's just be nice. Let's just be nice.
Let's be a little more gentle.
Be a little bit more gentle.
I'm so tired of it, Toby. The fact that if you live your life in the public eye, that somehow gives the public a right to tell you anything about yourself. Yes, let's be a little more gentle. That would be awesome. And I also observed in that video, she's talking about where she's at and kind of saying, look, I'm good, and please stop fixating on this, rightfully so. But then towards the end of the video, because she has lived more than half her life in the public eye, of course, she has this realization in the moment of, oh my gosh, I'm not wearing fake eyelashes. I'm not wearing any eye makeup. Note that, like, somehow she has to note that or defend it on just a random appearance. And I'm just like, my goodness, it must be so exhausting as a human to have to operate under that scrutiny non-stop.
You bring up a really good point. And here's I'm going to draw an analogy. I was talking to, I work out at the gym, right? So you meet a lot of guys at the gym, and, guys I've met in my professional life that have worked out. I mean, I know some guys in sales that are like super big, like just super muscular cats or whatever. And you ask them about what their rationale was for it, men and women for that matter, right? What their rationale was to lift. And, talking to one dude, he's like, man, it's all about the attention. If I'm being honest, it's like all about the attention I'm going to get from females and, this, that, and the third or whatever. And I said, okay, cool. But then that same cat, like a year later, and this guy's physique is insane. And he's actually outkicked the coverage, right?
Yep,
he judges everybody else. Yep. Like no one else is putting in this kind of work. Like, yeah, that's because it's not normal. Like you have gone way over what you need to do. It's not about you being healthy anymore. This is something else. You've outkicked your coverage. And I feel like with artists, they want to be successful, but I think some of the artists, not in our generation, but I'm talking about like this young generation, right? Like our children's generation. I think that they're like, I'm not going to outkick my coverage. I'm cool making it. I want to be successful, but I'm going to hold back a little bit. I'm not going to be all the way out there. I mean, some of them still are, but you have others that like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, it kind of reminds me of Angine de Pointine, to a certain extent. Like, nah, we're going to wear these masks. I mean, if you like the music, cool. That's it. Just buy the music, but you're not going to get any part of me. And then other people like Sia come to mind, like, hey, I do what I do.
I'll do it with a lampshade because you should be listening to the music.
Right.
Man, there are so many things we can go off on, Toby. I do want to circle back to men. Men, the whole thing of looks maxing now, literally dudes getting surgery on all parts of their body to, get their cheekbones looking a certain way or it's really taking things to such extremes. It's beyond outkicking your coverage. It's taking the ball and running back into the tunnel and streaking down the boulevard. I don't know. It goes in crazy directions. So we'll circle back to that because I don't want to, as we get into the show, I still want to make sure we're talking about this song and Ariana, but I definitely have tons of thoughts on that. And I do think you're right that it seems to be one or the other because society is in such a way now that we're so immersed in gobbling up the socials and the coverage of somebody. It seems like as an artist, you got two choices. Either you really lean into that and you make yourself available in all the ways, or you lean completely out and say, you're not even going to know who I am. because much like the rest of the world right now, everything is so polarized, there's no middle ground. So how can you become an artist at this point? If you want to be at the level where you're selling out stadium tours and things like that, you either have to pick one of those lanes, which is crazy to me. So I almost wonder as an artist if you have to somehow hold back some of your career, some of who you are, and say, you know what, I'm going to get 2 to 3 million listeners on Spotify. I'm going to be good with that. We'll do our tours. We'll build our fan base, but I don't want to be at that global icon level because, it's too much. It's a weird space. It feels like the rest of the world. We're just in this weird space with art.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look at, let's see, Coco, I forget her last name. She married, Donovan Mitchell.
Coco Jones?
Coco Jones is a fantastic talent. Like she is a monster. I mean, she can really, really sing. I mean, for real. But she doesn't have not the popularity. She don't have the pull of some, like an Ariana. She doesn't have that. You know, it's interesting that she's relevant. She's very, very relevant. And, she comes out the album. Yeah, we heard about it. We hear it. We listen to it. We enjoy it. But she's not on that level. Is she, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really listened to any interviews.
You haven't done
with
a
her.
deep dive. Yeah.
Right. But is she on that track? Like, no, I want that. Or is she just okay? I mean, it's interesting. Is she okay? Is satisfied with where she's at? Like, hey, I just want to make good music. I just want to be, I'm good. I mean, who knows? I think it's part of the American society. I think, we're talking about music, but goodness, in corporate life, it's literally the same thing as corporate ladder. Being at this certain level, people are going to look at you weird. Like, man, you're fine just being this level. You never want to climb. And managers and supervisors and CEOs, they look down on folks that just want to stay where they're at. You don't want to evolve. Like, no, like how much is enough? Like I have a family. I have other things I'm interested in, have outside interests. I do this. I go hiking on the weekends and I blah, 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 blah. Like I've got kids. I've got I'm a writer. I'm a whatever, it's,
it's such a good point. And I've had so many coaching conversations with leaders who, once they get into that role and they've climbed the chain and now they've got a certain level of authority and a certain level of, I've got to be dealing with people and not only I've got to manage and lead. And they're like, you know what? I miss my old gig. I don't like this. And oftentimes it happens. You're a high performer. You're really great at your job. Leadership or the next level up says, oh, you know what? You're really good at this. Let's promote you. Then they don't give you any skills or resources to actually teach you how to lead people and do it right. And so now you've gone from doing the work that you really love to not doing any of that work, but now you have to manage the people who are supposed to be doing the work and you have to effectively lead them and model the way. And you're like, this sucks. I don't get to do what I love doing. And now I've got to do this thing that I don't really necessarily have any training in. I might have some innate skills, but now I got to do it on the fly. And by the way, I'm working 20, 30, 40% more than I used to for maybe a little bit more money, but it's not worth the hassle because I'm not going outside and playing with my kids or doing the things and my weekends aren't the same. And you're right. Leadership says, oh, well, if you want to just stay in your role, then you're not looking to advance. You're like, I'm looking to advance my life. I'd rather do that. That's a choice. This job is a means to my life. It is not my life. And maybe we should be celebrating. Look, there's a spot for both. Like we need the people who want to stay in those roles.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're the ones who love the work and are doing the work and doing it really well.
That's right.
And we need the people who are saying, I still want to climb up and maybe I love leading people. Maybe I love that strategy and human component of it. So I don't know why it has to be so binary because
everything's binary now, though.
There is no gray.
That is it. We need, I mean, almost like improper fraction thinking. or something that we need something.
We need decimals.
We need decimals.
It's not just zeros and ones, people.
Yeah.
Come on now.
We need decimals because
there's an infinite number of whole numbers.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about decimals. So,
I mean, it's again with the, you talked about getting promoted without you're good at one thing. You're good at that thing. You're successful at your job, at your current position. You get promoted without the training. To me, that's just like having an unplanned pregnancy and with someone that you're not even sure you want to base your entire future around. It's like, oof, we're here now. Yeah, you're here. You're here, buddy. Like it or not, you are here. And the other, yeah. I mean, it's just, there's so much to talk about. I mean, but the thing here, the one thing that I like the image that she brings, that Ariana brings in this song, because Petal and in the video that she has, it shows like that flower growing through, concrete, through, like still coming out soft and vulnerable, still authentically her, at least, initially. At the end of the video, something totally different. But I like that image, like, man, like to be able to make it, right? But so many people try. So many of these seeds of dreams, are planted, but only, just from happenstance, or people, life gets in the way, whatever the case may be. A lot of these seeds don't bloom. A lot of people just don't make it, but she did.
She did. And I think you hit on something really important there, is that she stayed true to herself and stayed soft in some way. And we talk about resilience a lot. And I mean, it's a huge theme in my book. It's a huge theme of my life. And I think what gets focused on a lot when we talk about that word is you've got to armor up. You've got to push through. You've got to become harder. You've got to, fight fire with fire. And that's what resilience is. And it's like, no, resilience is staying true to who you are despite the hardness of the circumstances around you. And if you can be that flower that's pushing through the hard surface of the concrete and you can still be that beautiful flower, then you've just made the entire landscape around you beautiful.
That's right.
And I mean, I think back to what was Tupac wrote that poem about a rose coming up through concrete. I had that around here somewhere. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I think it's, I mean, this is just, I know they made that sort of after he died, they made that album, that tribute album to him. But, he says, you try to plant something in the concrete. If it grow and the rose petal got all kind of scratches and marks, you're not going to say, oh, damn, look at all the scratches and marks on that rose that grew from the concrete. You're going to be like, oh, damn, a rose grew from the concrete. And so this theme, I think, is such and I don't know if I don't know, I would assume she's heard that, or she's certainly knows about it. So I don't know if that was any inspiration for her, but I don't know. Just getting back to the resilience, if we need to start celebrating not the changing who you are to suit the hard circumstances, but staying true to who you are despite the hard circumstances.
Yeah. Not sacrificing who you are, staying authentically you. I think that is definitely noteworthy. And again, I think this is something that the young generation is championing. You see it I don't necessarily always agree with how they do it, but I understand the sentiment. And of course, we're men of a certain generation. Of course, a lot of us are just so programmed in how we think anyway. Anything different, be like, man, why are they doing it that way? You should just do it this way, blah, 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 blah. But, a lot of these young people are like, no, talk to me about, work-life balance or work-life harmony. Sure. Like they're talking about it like up front, like, look, I want this job, but I don't want this job to become my life. Like, I respect that. Like, I get it. I totally get it. So.
And I think it's interesting that so many of them that I don't know. So many of them are focused now on, I know I've got a window, so I'm going to maximize the next 6 to 10 years where I'm not going to have a life so that I can make all of the money and put myself up for whatever that future holds and then live the life I want, but it's a short window.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that that's necessarily a new thing, but we've lived in this bootstrap society and you can be whatever you want and opportunities are open to you. And we can certainly acknowledge that not all opportunities are open to all people. Sure. But if you are fortunate enough to be able to do that, and it's a recognition of, I'm going to choose a finite period of time to hustle in order to not have to hustle anymore. And I think some of it is like, well, good luck to you. It's not always possible. Circumstances do not always allow that to be, but it is interesting that they are more honed in on either, I'm not going to do that at all, or I'm only going to do it for this very short period of time, because I recognize underneath all of it that it's like, no, that's not living a full life.
Yeah. And, and this kind of ties back into, Ariana, because after this tour, which ends on September 1st, she's taking a step back. And so like maybe in her mind, she's like, okay, this is the price for all of this. I'm going to give you this much. Here's the expiration date for this coupon to see me. And after that, I'm out. I've done the movies, won the awards. You won't see me. The tour, after this tour, I'm out. And it's like, wow. And at that point, all the people I feel bad for, the Ariana fans, right? To an extent, right? Like, oh my God. I mean, if my favorite artists stopped making music, like if Olivia Dean just said tomorrow, like, man, like, hey guys, you don't know like how, like, there's just so much pressure, like since this last album. And this actually could be very real. I mean, for all we know, because people like to talk about Olivia Dean. She's too this, she's too that, she's too thin, she's whatever. And if she just said like, hey, you know what? I'm out. I'll see you guys in 3 years. Like, oh,
my boy Toby would be.
That would hurt. Oh my God.
Feels.
It would take more than a cup of tea. I'll tell you that right now for me to get over it. But I get it. I understand. And I guess the good thing is that there's so many other artists that are out there to, these artists shouldn't feel like they have to do it all. Like, the fans need me. They shouldn't really feel like that. Like they're going to be okay. There's plenty of artists out there. There's plenty of music.
And they've given you a gift already. You have a catalog. You have the things that you can connect to. I wish Bill Withers had made more music, but I also respect the hell out of the fact that he was like, I'm out. I wish Jim Brown would have played, or Barry Sanders would have played more football.
Right.
But you know what? I will still pull up those Barry Sanders highlights and just be like, man, that dude was special.
Beast.
And appreciate it. So, and they don't owe us. They've already given us the gifts, which is why we appreciate and take so much joy out of those gifts. So we can just say, as Ariana would say, thank you. Next.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Very true. Very, very true. So have you listened to more songs from the album?
I have. I think it's a good album. I think you hit it on the head. It sits in a pocket and it's a vibe. And she's got such an interesting way of combining pop sensibilities with, bringing in some hip hop. I think she's got some synth wave stuff going in here. Like it's a stew. And, as any good witch would do, right? You throw it in the cauldron and you see what comes out. You stir it up. And I think she's done that on that album. And I love that, she kind of broke out with, what's his name? Max Miller? Or no, I'm sorry, different guy. Max Martin. That Swedish producer, right? That's, I think who broke, Problem back when she was on TV. Like that was her big breakout hit. So she worked with him and I love that she's still working with him. And she's still working with, what's the guy's name? Ilyas Samanzadeh. I probably butchered that, but I love when artists build rapport and then appreciate kind of over the breadth of their work, say, we've got something really great working. I think we see that a lot with bands, right? That's the nature of a band is you build that camaraderie. But I think it's great when kind of solo artists like Ariana also do that. It's like, I've got my band. I've got my people, the people I know I'm safe to write with, who we just jive on a musical level. And it's a different approach. And I'm not saying one's better than the other than saying, hey, let's get Amy Allen in here and write a pop song and make a hit. Both are viable, but I can appreciate kind of bringing your team along for the ride.
I love the fact that she, if you were just looking at like her, like visually, you've seen her on Victorious, she seems super innocent, super duper innocent, but like her lyrics, just like they push
they beg to differ
every time. I love that contrast. Yes, one thing that I really, and so I was interested to hear her lyrics on this. Like, oh, nope, still the same. All right, she hasn't changed that at all. So I do always appreciate that.
Yeah, and then you look at, I think some of her SNL, like some of my favorite appearances from her on Saturday Night Live, when there's the one where she does karaoke a cappella versions just of different artists, and she just shifts effortlessly into their vocal styles and whatever. And that's, I think, when you can start to appreciate just how much training goes into being as good as she is, how much work goes into being as good as she is. Yeah. Because it seems so effortless.
I mean, she's diva status. Diva. I mean, there's not too many songs that I couldn't hear her sing on and be like, yeah, she'd kill that. It really doesn't matter. She's got a crazy range, insane range, very sweet voice, has her own style, but can push it when she needs to. And so, I mean, she's great. She's fantastic. So I look forward to, I remember when she came out with Dangerous Woman. I was like, good night. Good night. I mean, my God. Between that, I mean, I like, and then a very, very different type of song as far as like singing and, like how she was singing vocal styles was Positions, right? It's just like, it's just different. She knows she's an actress. I mean, so she can play different roles, even in singing. So like, I appreciate that. She can do a lot,
I love that.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I just love that she's left this song open. Mm-hmm. People can read it as a breakup song, but what she said is she deliberately wrote it to be, let's see, it's kind of about breaking up with all different kinds of negative attachments, whether it's my own monsters in my own head, external voices, things that no longer serve me. It was a writing experiment for me to use that as the template so that I could be talking about one thing and people could use it however they want and apply it to their own life. And that's the beauty of art, is when you can say something that's uniquely personal, but yet it's accessible to anybody to say, ooh, this is also personal to me. Let me apply this and take this gift that you've given me and kind of use it for my own purposes because it's really helping me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I like those songs that kind of make you think, that's one of the beautiful parts about, hip hop that I really enjoy, is like finding hidden meanings or sitting around a table talking to other people, that other fans, and trying to figure out what the secret means. What's the cipher? What is this person really trying to say? And I like that she wrote it intentionally for people to think one way or another. I mean, that kind of intentionality is super cool. Is really, really cool. I like a little bit of mystery. If it, at the end of the day, if it's good, it's good. I mean, period. If it's good, it's good. But it's understanding or thinking you have an inside track, like, no, for this song means this to me. It means this to me. I think that's always interesting too. So.
This episode of Riffs on Riffs is brought to you by DistroKid, your ultimate partner for taking your music to the next level.
With DistroKid, uploading your songs or albums to online stores and streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube Music is easier than ever. Plus, you can easily pay your collaborators with splits and send large files securely to anyone with Instant Share.
And guess what else? You can get a YouTube official artist channel for free, and you can use Hyperfollow to promote your release.
DistroKid has everything you need to succeed in the digital music landscape.
But that's not all. DistroKid now offers a convenient mobile experience with the DistroKid app, available on iOS and Android.
You can manage your releases, track your streaming stats, and even withdraw your earnings, all from the palm of your hand. And for the artists looking to perfect their sound, there's Mixia. With Mixia, you can put the finishing touches on your tracks in minutes, ensuring they sound polished and professional every time.
And if you need to share large files securely with collaborators, producers, or playlist curators, look no further than Instant Share. It's free to send up to 1 gigabyte of files, and your music will stream at the highest quality, making the best impression possible.
Elevate your music career today with DistroKid and unlock a world of possibilities.
Riffs on Riffs listeners get 30% off their first year at DistroKid by going to distrokid.com/VIP/riffsonriffs. Have you I know, I'm sure you have. Have you written songs that you thought were so painfully obvious from a thematic content or what you were trying to say, and then people respond or take their own interpretation and are like, what? How'd you get, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't intended that. To me, I think that's also the beauty of songs in general or literature, whether it's poetry or music or whatever. It's like you as an artist have something very clear that you're trying to say. And yet, holy cow, the breadth of interpretations people can bring to the table is sometimes just fascinating.
Yeah. It used to bother me when people didn't get it.
Right. You're like, yes. Totally.
How do you not see that? How do you not understand? It's right there. Read the sign. It's right. It's right there. But, at this age, I don't care. At
this age, you kind of appreciate the fact that it's like,
you're talking about it.
Because it gives you a new perspective on your own work or whatever.
And sometimes that happens too. I remember talking to Brandon, of course, we're rhyme partners. So it's just like, I listened to this verse. I don't know how many times we performed this song for years, and then we'll go over it in practice. I'm like, wait a minute. What's that part?
What do you say?
You say that.
Yeah.
Did you mean this? Like, wow. I never got that before. Now I get it. And it's like, it just adds a whole new meaning, to the song. I was out last night with some friends, so like 3 other couples my wife and I were hanging out with, and there was we're hanging out at this bar and like a beer garden, and there's a band that was playing, and they played one of my favorite songs, Fiona Apple's Criminal.
Great song.
Man, I will always remember when I first heard that song, just off that song.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that and Shadowboxing, but essentially just off that song, I bought the album. Like, done. I want to hear what you have to say because, as I told my friends, that was one of the first times I think I ever heard a woman say, I'm sorry. Like, like it was her fault.
Well, it's also interesting you bring up Fiona because she was one of the artists that got super tired of the backlash.
Totally.
And was like, stop it. Just stop.
And was done. And was like,
it was done.
I'm out. Like, peace.
And again, good on her.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it might not be the same thing. It's a totally different artist, but like Alanis Morissette is kind of like, she's out. She was like super big. And then just,
she said what she had to say.
Yeah.
And then was like, all right, I'm out. Good. I'm done with the nonsense. Because another one who had been in the spotlight forever and then finally was like, nope, this is really what's going on. Let me just spew it all. I'm sure I think she said it was, therapeutic and cathartic for her in, all the ways. Yeah. Now, how would you, because Rihanna did a similar thing.
Oh, yeah. Rihanna's, you might not get, and that hurts my heart. She might not get it. There was years where I was like, you're not going to get another album from Rihanna like that. Yeah. I'm like, after the last one, which was a hit, like, Anti, my God. But I think she's still working on music right now. I heard a rumor that she's working on new music, but, she's really concentrated on family. And I've seen interviews with her husband, A$AP Rocky, and they are just, dude, they're so comfortable and just chill. Like, man, we're together. Like what? Like, it is what it is. I love that. I love what they got.
Speaking of chill, I just saw something from Andre 3000. And I did listen to a long form interview with him, which really helped me appreciate the path he took and the flute playing and the exploration and all of that. And he was talking about, people think I've got all these raps that I've stored up, that I've got this catalog. He's like, I'm not writing that stuff. What am I going to rap about? My colonoscopy? Like, I don't think about this stuff anymore. I'm 48 or whatever he is right now. It's not my path. Like, there's no secret somewhere. There's no vault. My life has changed. I've changed. I've grown. I've matured. What I'm doing right now is who I am and who I love being. So stop looking for that old version of me.
I'm so glad that you mentioned this because, I think what people don't understand is the different types of artists that there are, right? So we look at Andre 3000, very, very talented, right? Very, very talented. And then you have somebody like Common. You have somebody else like Black Thought. Now, I know you play ball, right? And you know that there's some cats that love basketball. Like we all enjoy it. Some of us love it a little bit more than others. And you have those cats that we call gym rats, right? These are the cats that breathe basketball. They don't leave the house without a pair of shorts and their shoes in the car. They're always ready to play. I don't love it like that. I can't remember the last time I loved it to that extent. But Black Thought is that type of artist. Black Thought has rhymes for days. He will never get tired of rhyming. Like he has, any group that you belong to, before you put an album out, the album's going to be like 15 songs. And this dude says they did 100 songs.
Right.
To decide which 50. Dude, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Common doesn't do that. I don't think Common does that. And obviously Andre 3000 doesn't do that, And another one that's like that is, Mos Def. Like, no, Mos Def's like, I got other stuff that I want to do. This was just a path. This was a stepping stone to do whatever. 'Cause I think he really wanted to act. Have you seen the movie that he did? I know, very random.
It's what we do, Toe. I love random. No.
Is by him being a doctor. Let's see. It is called Something the Lord Made. Listen, people. I implore you, let's get biblical. I beseech you to watch Something the Lord Made, 2004 HBO biographical film. It is fantastic. It is such a good movie. It deserved an award. It deserved an award. It is that good. It's just fantastic. And I was like, okay, he got something. He should go because he's that good. But anyway, people have all these, fans put all that stuff on people like, oh, he just wants to do this for the rest of his life. It's like, no, you really don't. Like he's out. He's out. He did enough. He's going to live his life,
I can think of 20 different things that I could do for the next 5 years. And then I'd want to do the next thing and the next thing. And I'm just sad that I'll be dead before I get to do all the things.
Yep. Same. But, it is what it is. It is what it is.
So I want to shine a light too, because I thought the other good thing that Ariana's done with this is she launched a foundation called Brighter Days Ahead Foundation. So I think she rolled it out in June, and it's focused on 4 different things: mental health, LGBTQ rights, emergency relief. I guess that's only 3. I think there's a 4th in there. Okay. But I wonder if this is something that, as she pulls away, she's working a little bit more behind the scenes. And look, I don't want to, for an artist who's very clearly said, I'm done with the scrutiny, the last thing I want to do is come on here and say, let's scrutinize what Ariana might do next.
Sure.
But I'm just happy to see that she's creating a platform. She's using her platform to do good in the world, to provide space and resources for others. And I don't know exactly how that fund is going to be set up and what it means, but it might be worth exploring. So I just wanted to shine a light and applaud that as well.
Yeah. I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic whenever you can put your skills to something to help other people, to help others. And, obviously she had a lot to say. I think one of the best ways that you can say all that you can, right? But she could just go through a whole bunch of interviews. I mean, she could be on the late specials. She could be on CNN. She could be on all the Good Morning America, talking and talking and talking, and people would dissect every word. Instead of all of that, just like, you know what? Let me just write an album. I'm going to say what I say. And that's the one thing I like about, writing letters, like actually sitting down and writing a letter. Because,
we've talked, I don't think I've ever acknowledged this, but from time to time you'll hop on a polo and you'll tell me about a letter you're writing, or, hey, I want to get my thoughts together and think about what I want to say, and then I'm going to write this letter. And I've never acknowledged that, but I've always thought, what an amazing thing. Whether it's internally taking the time to pull back and say, no, I want to think about what I want to say to this other person, whether you're just doing it for yourself.
Sure.
Or whether it's, and it could be, hey, there's some friction here and I want to think about it and address it. Or it could be, I want to be intentional about showing my gratitude and appreciation for this thing. I just think what a beautiful thing. And I just want to say that out loud. So good on you for doing that. And I think it's something that we can all kind of take away and say, man, if we, especially in this digital age, sitting down with pen and paper and just writing down, I think is such an amazing opportunity.
It truly is, because I made it like a special thing. Like I've got like this paper that looks weathered and old. I've got the old matching envelopes, and
you can put it in envelopes. That's so cool.
Yeah, put them in envelopes. Let's do it. And actually a wax seal. Right. So, we went, went all the way. Because I was like, there's something special. Like, I mean, to type something up, we can type stuff up really, really quickly. In fact, we could just talk to AI and have AI just do it. But man, there is something to actually writing on paper that, because, you go through your versions, like, okay, that's okay. I want this part to be a little bit different. Then you write another version. Okay. Now that we have the final version, we're ready to actually sit down and write. And then to sit down and actually write it. It's intentional. It's great. They can see all the little mistakes, the little scratch outs if they are, and then, your handwriting, you just take, and it's just something I feel that you can pour more into it when you're doing handwriting stuff. The one thing that every Father's Day and every birthday that my wife and I have, my son will actually sit down and write a letter to us, which is nice. Put it all in the card, and then he'll read it to us because his handwriting is terrible. And so, so nobody else can read it, but he'll read it to us, and it's like opens the floodgates every time because he puts so much time and effort into it. So it's just one of those things. It's like, man, just making a conscious choice. Some things just feel right. And I think that writing is good, especially if you want to get your point across, because there's no interruptions in writing. That's the beautiful part. Like if we're talking, somebody can butt in anytime they want. But like if you're just writing, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is. It's out there, and boom.
And it's committed.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I was reading in the reviews is some reviewers were pointing to the fact that she's talking about, for lack of a better word, these wounds. But she's not really telling us what they are. And I was like, okay, so what? I don't know if we're so used to being handed the thing that we expect it, but I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is by not clearly defining it, it leaves it open for everybody to interpret to take their own personal meaning away from it. But also it kind of goes back to, are we owed that? Do we have to get down into the depths of whatever she's thinking about or working through or whatever? I don't think so. I think it's not again, if that's what you're looking to do because it's useful to you as the artist, awesome. But we're not owed that. And so I'm just wondering, have we become so used to, as a society, expecting that access?
Yeah. We fans are like the worst version of your stepmother, right? Because, or not stepmother, your mother-in-law, I should say, because they're all in your business, right? They just, there are no lines. There are no lines. I like it that when you can keep it open, because if we're talking about, let me just name a problem, whatever that that's issue, low self-confidence or, whatever. If we're talking about that thing and not a problem in general, I think if you talk about the problem in general, people can apply it any way that they want. Like Tommy can apply it, Bobby can apply it, Jane can apply it, regardless of what their issue is, regardless of the situation. You're going through a problem, right? But if we get really specific, then it's just like, well, that part doesn't really, that doesn't really speak to me because, I'm not a woman, or that doesn't speak to me because I'm not a man, or, just if you keep it open a little bit, you'll find more people can actually apply the song. It can work in a way to relate to more. So I like that. I like that part. So, yeah.
So I want to circle back to, you brought up the talking to guys at the gym, whatever. I go to the gym now, and man, the amount of young men that are literally staring at themselves in the mirrors. They're putting in work, and I worry about how much of it is healthy, because we've talked about the looks maxing and how toxic. Women have always dealt with this. I think to some degree, you and I grew up in the 80s, right? So we were talking about the A-Team yesterday, right? You had Mr. T, you had Arnold, you had Sylvester Stallone, you had this sort of ideal of what a man should be, Hulk Hogan, like all of these muscular, Carl Weather, like over the top,
sure,
not over the top, but there was a persona that you were trying to achieve, and that was kind of what we looked to. And I looked at that, and I still carry a lot of that internal monologue inside my head of, you're not that guy. I don't know that we understand how much men carry that inside as well, because rightfully so, women are dealing with it forever. And Ariana's video speaks directly to it. And again, it is what it is. But I also think that men carry a lot of that as well. And I think maybe it's finally catching up to us from a societal standpoint. But regardless of where it's being targeted, it's really unhealthy.
Super unhealthy, and the pendulum swings, the sword cuts both ways. That is for sure. It is unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate. If you're doing it for the right reasons, it's different. I guess you just levels. There's levels to it. I understand you want to look a certain way. I get it. I dress a certain way. I spend a certain amount of money on suits and things like that. And I like, look good, feel good, sell well, all the things. But there's a limit to everything. And I think when it comes to we're talking surgeries and we're talking, spending ridiculous sums of money, I think it's unfortunate. And now you can kind of look at people and see okay, that's authentic and that's not authentic. And the very things that people have done, fake abs, fake booties. It is out of hand, and it's out of hand. It's to the point where you just want something authentic and something real. And maybe I'm old fashioned, right? Maybe that is the case. I certainly like, when you see, women's faces and you see oh man, that's a good looking woman. That has a very attractive woman. But then you get into the whole routine of how much makeup they might be putting on and things like that. It's oh my God, man, it's so much maintenance to have to kind of keep up. And you see them on an off day, and this is men and women for that matter. You see them on off day. It's wow, this is different. It's not bad. It's just different. It's just
beauty
different.
In a different way. Well, I think you get that authenticity word. The question becomes, are you doing it for yourself? And you truly have some sort of gauge or internal barometer that you're trying to reach, or just a way that makes you feel good, whether it's I dress in a certain way because it makes me feel good inside, or I go work out because it helps me feel good and I feel like versus I'm doing this to appease the external world. I don't feel and I think this is the part that we miss sometimes is I don't feel good enough inside. So I'm going to go and try and validate it by doing all of these other things, whether it's surgery, whether it's over-indexing on, working out, whatever it is. You're trying to probably heal a wound, and it's not going to heal that wound. You're just going to keep chasing it, and that's the real challenge.
Agreed. And again, people that have done it, people that have, over-indexed or maxed out their look in whatever way, and they end, a lot of times they end up, out kicking the coverage. The people that they were trying to get, the appeal that they were trying to get, they see somebody else that didn't have to go through all that has it, right? They didn't have to do all that. They got the job, or they got that girl, or they got that guy, and they didn't have to do all of that, or they get that person and they realize like, man, this person's not what I thought they were. This job isn't what I thought it was. And it's like, man, and there's just no takebacks on some of that stuff, especially when we're talking about surgery. I mean, it's, when you're changing your face, you're changing your abs, I don't know. I really appreciate how we look like now. Just take care of yourself. I mean, it's interesting just seeing older gentlemen nowadays with hair transplants, right? And and I get it. I'm bald, dude. So I completely have hair envy from time to time, for sure. But I mean, there's for what? I guess at the end of the day, like, for for who? I'm not going to spend 10, 15 grand, 20 grand, whatever it costs to do that, for look younger for who? Like, I think for me, because I remember dyeing my beard I think I did it for like a month or 2 months. Dude, I got exhausted. It is so much work. It's so much work, and you can't get the color right. It's like, I'm not doing this. Like, I distinctly remember like this being in my bathroom looking at this mess that's on the sink. And right. I'm not doing this. And no shade to anybody that does. Hey, if you do, you do it. It's fine. Do you? I'm showing wisdom. You're going to see it. You're going to see the gray, dude. It's too much work. It's too much work.
Man, that's just such a interesting. Obviously, I still have hair. I feel really fortunate.
Yeah.
And yet, I worry about it. I'm like, well, when is this going to go away? There's a lot more gray coming in, and I thought, should I do? And you start to talk to women around our age,
sure,
and they're just, do I get Botox? Do I?
Sure.
Like, what are the things that I need to hold on to? Do I need to hold on to these things? Is it okay to be older? Because society tells us it's not okay to be older. It's certainly not okay to look older. Men, there's certainly the double standard of like, oh, well, you can be a silver fox. You can be wise and a sage wisdom and all of that. Women are just old. Like it's, there's so much nonsense surrounding it, but man, yeah, like it's a thing. Like we're all thinking about it.
Yeah.
And kudos to you for being in a place where you're like, no, I'm good. I am who I am. I've earned a little bit of gray in my beard, and it means I probably have something to say, from a life well lived that maybe could be useful to the rest of the world.
Well, we're all sensitive about how we look, right? I think we're all, in general, sensitive. One person says the one thing. I remember somebody 2 months ago, someone was like, they looked at a picture from me from years back, and she was like, oh my God, Toby, you look so young, right? I was like, oh my God.
No. Wait, what does that mean for now?
Like, yeah, I'm like, what? I look, it took a couple of days to get over that. I'm not going to lie, but we're all human, right? We go through phases, but I think that we're our most beautiful selves, when we're authentic, when it, this is like the base model, Toby, this is it. If you can love me in this form, then we're going to get along great. Or I don't have to be, friendship. There's amount of work to nourish a friendship, but it shouldn't have to be, shouldn't be so cosmetic, outside of good hygiene. What are we talking about?
Just do the basics, people.
Just do the basics, man. Just keep it simple. So is anything more that we want to talk about? We've strayed a little ways from.
Well, I think that both in the song and in the album and then in her pulling back, what we're talking about is boundaries. It took her 8 albums, but finally she said, I'm angry. I'm going to get a little feral and I'm not going to censor myself. And I'm going to say what I need to say. I'm going to set these boundaries with this music. And then I'm going to step back. So I'm going to give you everything I have. I'm going to do an amazing tour. I'm going to finish it with 3 nights and whatever it is. I can't remember where, but I'm going to lean all the way in. I'm going to give you the last of me. And then I'm going to set a boundary and pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not an easy thing to do. And I'm curious, and this is maybe a heavy question to end on, but can you think of a time where what's one of the hardest boundaries you've had to set that in order to be true to yourself?
I think probably one of the harder boundaries I had to set was when I had to take a step back from music to really focus in on work. Mm-hmm. And my partner, he wanted, we were pretty popular at the time. We had a little bit of a buzz. It's like, this is the time to actually pour into the next album. We have an opportunity for a tour. And I just said, nope, not doing the tour. You're going to have to do the tour by yourself, because I'm not going to do it. And I mean, I have some regrets from time to time. Actually, no, I don't have any regrets because I heard that tour was terrible. But, but I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did what I did, because I had to provide. It was like, I have to get serious about this thing right here. Mm-hmm. And, it just kind of shows. And I guess, man, there's just so many, I feel like God is trying to show me signs of like, man, do you see what you can really accomplish when you stop doing 10 different things and just focus on the one thing? You focus on this one thing and you see what you can actually accomplish. Man, blessings abound. I think I got 2 promotions within a 12-month period. And because of the confidence I had from those promotions, that actually led me to get the confidence to actually open up my agency after the layoff, so, which started everything, that kind of started everything. So, yeah, so I think taking a step back, although, temporary, and say, let me focus on this. I think that was the right thing to do. So yeah, painful at the time though. At the time. Yeah. What about you?
Ooh, I mean, I think the easy one to pull on is the boundaries I eventually set with my mom specifically when she was still alive, just cutting off contact, and just saying, no, I'm not doing this. And that took a long time to get to. In some ways it was easy. In some ways it wasn't. But I think whenever you are in the midst of dealing with something really, really unhealthy, whether that's a relationship, whether that's an internal struggle, whether it's addiction, whatever that might be, setting that boundary is maybe the hardest thing to do, but it's also the first step. Is what's the small stop sign that I can put up right now and say, nope. It may be only 5 feet in front of me, but I'm not letting anything past that. And then how do I expand that boundary in a healthy way to say, okay, that was hard, but I survived. Because I think sometimes we swing so hard into realizing I need to set a boundary. I'm going to build the wall. I'm going to build the biggest thing possible so that nothing can get over. And boundaries are incremental. Think of them as speed bumps that you're building along to. One speed bump, you can fly over that and you can catch air and it might even be fun. You go through a string of 10 speed bumps, you're slowing down. Yeah. Because that's the actual boundary. So maybe don't build the mountains. Start with building some small hills and let that start to protect whatever it is that you need to be protecting.
I love that. I love that. Love that. Love that. Well, hey, Riff Nation, we thank you so much for listening to us today talk about Ariana and her single Petals. Hope you check out the track and then let us know how you feel about it. We'd love to hear your thoughts on
Share
that.
your story of how you're going through the concrete.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it. Where can you find us? You know, you can find us at riffsonriffs.com. You can find us on Instagram, particularly on YouTube for sure. We have our own channel there. In all streaming platforms. We thank you so much for listening. And this time I'm going to let Joe say what I always say in general at the end of every episode. What do I say, Joe? Let him have it.
You say, peace out, people. No, that's not what you say. Keep listening.
Huzzah! There it is. There it is.